Good day, farmers. PurpleMentat here with day 15, spring year 1 of Stardew Valley. Let's see what the weather says for tomorrow. Beautiful sunny day. Darn it, I need some rain. Fortune teller says, luck will not be on your side, and living off the land tells us we're back again with another tip for y'all. It's salmonberry season. Now is when foraging really pays off. Not as well as it could. Ooh, we have mail. Granny Evelyn warning us that when summer arrives, spring crops will all die out, so plan ahead. And this is the day before we could possibly plant something that we wouldn't be able to harvest. If we were to plant cauliflower tomorrow, that would be the last day that we would be able to get a harvest in on the 28th. I like that they added that to the game so that new players will be aware. Now, last episode I had an issue where I was not able to get my seeds out of the ground to make more field snacks. I did start the day just for a quick minute to test if I was able to get them to confirm that it was a leveling up foraging issue. And I was able to dig seeds out of the ground at the start of day 15 without restarting the program. So it seems to be that if you level your foraging skill during a day, you will not be able to dig seeds out of the ground until you have slept and it is finished leveling up. Just something to note, if you try to dig a seed out of the ground and nothing happens, try again tomorrow. You probably leveled your foraging. Alright, we've got a lot of watering to do, and Monday the 15th, not a whole lot else to do today. So I'm going to mute the mic, and I'm going to get through the rest of the morning chores and see what we can accomplish outside of that. I'm going to run around, I'm going to water everything, I'm going to dig up the seeds, and I'm going to speed all of that up in the editing. And maybe, just maybe, we'll end up doing more than one day in this episode. Depends on what else happens. Back soon. Alright, we got some more seeds so that we can make 6 more field snacks. And we got our first bit of pine tar. We're going to go ahead and sell this first one because we're bound to get more long before we get most of the rest of what we need to fill out that artisan bundle. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a copper bar, and I think it was just wood other than the copper bar. It's 2 copper bars. Alright, so never mind. We're not going to make another tree tap at the moment. However, I do want to get more of them running as quickly as I can. Okay, 3:20 p.m. Not bad time made so far. We'll sell the cauliflower and the pine tar, and we'll go ahead and head to town. We're going to see if there's a quest for us. We're going to see if there's any forage or worms that we can get along the way. I wonder, not, exit to desktop. Am I not zoomed out anymore? I am not. There we go. It's my favorite feature of 1.0.5. I love having better vision of the world. Shame that it zooms the UI as well. Is there an option to scale the UI? There might be. Nope. Ooh, we can increase the lighting quality to high. That's new. And we're definitely going to want to drop the snow transparency. Alright, there we go. Be nice if there was a way to zoom in and out with the controller, like L1 and R1 would be perfect for that. Looks like we have a new quest at Pierre's. Let's see what people want. You're running low on herring, and you'll give me 90G, and Alex will be pleased means that Alex will go ahead and give me some reputation if I were to bring him a herring. However, if I want to see how difficult that's going to be, I can go and I can check on the wiki under fish, sort by name, and you can see that herring are a common ocean fish available anytime during spring and winter. So that would be a very easy quest for me to complete, will give me a little bit more fishing skill. I've got the energy to do it, and will get me rep with one of the people in town. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that quest. And we're going to loop around through the mountain to get our delivery of a spring onion to Linus, to talk to Linus for the day, and to check for more forageables along the way. Zooming out is also really helpful for keeping track of people finding forageables and spotting more sticks and worms. I think I just accidentally gave him that dandelion, didn't I? Luckily, he didn't hate it. Whoops. Gotta be careful what you have on your hotbar when you're talking to people, or you might accidentally give them stuff. Make sure you talk to everyone on your way around. Especially at this point in the game, there's no reason not to. Linus, oh Linus, I have an onion for you. Here you go, Linus. Great gift. You're welcome. Alright, so where are we at? We are still not quite at 1 heart with Linus, but if we keep talking to him this week, we should get there. Alright, see these little red dots? They don't stand out very well to me, but this is going to be our energy source for the rest of, probably the rest of spring. Salmon berries don't restore a lot of energy each, but 25 a pop is pretty darn good when you can get multiples per bush. And they're everywhere. However, they're only everywhere like today and tomorrow. You need to gather them up while you can, and you can get so many of them. I have pulled in over 100 berries in some springs. So it is definitely worth doing. Plus, you get a ton of foraging experience. Every time you pick up a berry, set of berries off of a bush, boom, more foraging experience. They do not regrow, unfortunately. However, the same set of bushes will also produce, I think, blueberries or blackberries in the fall. So there's more berries available in another season. But yes, tons and tons of berries. Oh, look, more pine tar. Good. More pine tar, more money. If we start gathering enough cash, then we can... Well, I don't want to hand in our axe for upgrade, but we might get to a point where we can start... say, hey, didn't I already grab a pine tar out of this one? How was there another? Oh no, there were 3. That's why. I just missed one. I keep hearing whoop, and that noise usually means that something has grown or finished processing in some way. Very odd. Anyway, let's go check for more berries, check for spring onions, get our foraging up. Oh, while I'm here, I forgot to grab my... I almost forgot to grab my fishing pole, because we're going to need it. I don't know if we're going to have time to do it today, but we're certainly going to try to get a herring today. And once we get our fishing just a little bit higher, we can use some of this excess money to upgrade our fishing pole to a pole that can use bait, which will significantly increase our catch rate. Fishing is basically the alternative start to foraging. You can get a lot of free money and energy from fishing. but we need to basically search the entirety of the forests, get all of the berries that we're going to want, and probably a few more. The only downside of the salmon berries is they don't sell very well. So you're not going to want to bother selling them. You're just going to want to hang on to them and eat them. And they should last you, well, depending on exactly how much you set up for yourself, you might end up having a supply of salmon berries that lasts through the entirety of summer. In my initial playthrough, before I knew the mechanics of how things like jams and wines worked, I actually wasted a bunch of salmon berries and a bunch of time making jam and wine out of them. And you don't want to do that, because the value of jam and wine is based on the value of the item that you start with. Now, I believe that the berry drop rate was increased so that you get 2 per bush. But I might be misremembering, and it might have actually been me gaining the right level in foraging to cause berries to drop 2 per bush. I'll have to double check that. However, I know that my first time through, I was only getting 1 per bush, so I wasn't able to come out with nearly as many berries. This house down here, this empty abandoned place, that's where you buy hats once you have achievements. I'm sure that I've passed some berries along the way, by the way. They really don't stand out. They stand out a lot better for me at night than they do during the day. But yeah, colors, man, they're an issue. It's another reason I like having it zoomed out, is because things are on screen longer, means that I can double check everything looking for the shape, because as you can see, the berries are little circles that fill a void that's otherwise in the bush. Double check these. All right, not seeing anything. Unfortunately, it's 11:30 p.m. We will go check the ocean for forage real quick. But getting the berries was much more important than getting that herring. It also is helping me that I just flat remember where some of the berry bushes are. There goes Shane, heading home from his awful job at Joja Mart. I mean, who wants to be a Walmart stock boy? Yay, clam! Alright, now we're just short 1 crab from completing the crab pot bundle. It's a silver star clam, but I'm going to keep it anyway because the likelihood of me pulling a crab out of the dungeon is fairly high. And I think we've got just enough time that I can manage to leg it back to bed without losing a bunch of money and energy. We can even take a slight sidetrack to grab some more berries. Now I'm really starting to cut it fine. That's okay. Berries, berries, berries! I mean, honestly, those 4 berries will restore more energy than I lost from getting exhausted and losing half of my energy bar. So, it's worth it. And we're going to make it to bed anyway. Fantastic. Alright, pine tar gets sold, coral gets sold, gold star dandelion gets sold. Thank you very much for joining me, folks. Hope you have enjoyed day 15. If so, leave me a thumbs up, tell me what you liked. If not, leave a thumbs down, tell me what you didn't. Either way, you want to see more of these, please click subscribe, and I'll see you next time.